Hello there everybody, how's it going? Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, April 20th, 2016, and I am here with my Stitch Mania plans. Stitch Mania here is starting here in about 10, 11 days. I had to think there. And so I thought that I would show you guys my plans. I am almost 100% ready. First of all, I just want to say hats off to you Year of Starts people. I have been working on kitting up for these just Mania starts, and it's taking a lot of work. I have to commit myself to working on 5 of these a day. And then I'm like, ugh, I'm kitted out. Like, I just don't want to do it anymore. So I can't even imagine having to kit up 366 of these. It's bananas. So to Kate and Katie, specifically, as well as anybody else who's doing the Year of Starts, wow, is really all I can say. A couple of things that I want to make mention of here real quickly. First of all, nope, I'm not wearing any makeup. You are getting the au natural version of myself today. I can't put on any makeup right now because I am having some sort of an allergic reaction. It's not too visible. You might be able to notice a little bit of pinkness there on my cheeks. But we were in Blacksburg this past weekend, and sometimes when we stay at the house down there, I come back with this, I don't know what it is, but it's some sort of allergic reaction, and I can't wear makeup for like a week, which stinks because I just want to hide it all, but I can't because it exaggerates it. So you're getting the au natural version. I thought for sure I would wake up today and it would be gone, but I figure you don't care. You guys don't care that I don't have makeup on. The other thing that I should make mention of is that Thor is right there. He's sleeping. He's pretty much been asleep since we got back on Sunday. He stayed at a doggy daycare center while we were out of town, and he ran ragged. I've never seen him this tired. He has slept with intermittent, like, we have to force him to get up for a couple minutes every few hours here, just because I imagine that he's pretty stiff. On Monday, he slept on the bed, let's see, from 6 until 6. Like, no joke, 12 hours solid. If I hadn't got him up, I couldn't imagine that he would have been able to move. So he is here. He's snoring. He's probably not going to make an appearance, other than that. So we will move forward. So one other thing that I wanted to note is that this is not going to be an update. I'm not showing you any of my whips today. I'm not doing any Q&A or haul or anything like that. This is strictly Stitch Mania. I'm trying to think here. I wanted to do Stitch Mania last year, but I didn't prep ahead of time, and I got burnt out because I was having to do prep while doing Stitch Mania. So like day 4, I quit. This year, I decided to bite the bullet ahead of time and went with the full 31 new starts, which is crazy because May is like the most insane month for me outside of stitching. I have a niece turning 3, a nephew turning 1, my mother-in-law's birthday, there's Mother's Day, oh yeah, I'm getting married. Like, May's just a crazy month. So these are my plans, but I am holding on to the rights of changing and reorganizing as I see fit, because as I just explained, it's crazy. Oh, my niece's first dance recital is in May. Like, it's bananas May. So, I mean, we're talking Mania. But, so I've created these plans. Now you're all looking at me going, Jess, you said in the beginning of the year, limiting your new starts and getting things finished. Yeah, I know. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen, okay? We're going to let that go. I am currently at 33 whips, with 2 more starting before the end of next week, because Sunday is the Game of Thrones, and I have a new start planned for that. And then Monday is my birthday. So there will be a birthday new start. So essentially, as of next week, I'm going to have 35 whips. So I figure 31, what's the difference between 35 and 66? Plus 66, it's a nice even round number. It just, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I know that some of the Year of Starters have been criticized because they're not going to have finishes, but I think that Katie put it so eloquently. And she said, I don't stitch for the finished piece. And I'm so much the same way. I have a drawer of my finished pieces that couldn't tell you what I'm going to do with them. I'm not going to hang 75 cross-stitch pieces around my home. I love my cross-stitch, but I love it for the process of stitching. So I don't care. If I've got 66 whips, okay. Now, that being said, I'm not about to jump over the edge with a full year of new starts. And the reason for that is I'm a little bit obsessive compulsive about how my things are organized. I have every single one of my works in progress in one of these, and they are all exactly the same. They're all clear memory keepers from Hobby Lobby. It's very specific. They're only sold at Hobby Lobby because it's a Hobby Lobby brand. I'm very particular about things like this. On top of that, I've got my threads organized in a particular way. And just the sheer cost of organizing for 300 and some odd projects would be an expense. On top of the fact that getting organized for this Stitch Mania, I have cleared out my fabric stash. I have almost nothing left. A couple of darker fabrics that have, or some other things that I have particular plans for. But it took a year of buying fabric and then some to get 31 going. So yeah, I'm not quite at the full year, but we're doing a month. So yeah, so we're 10 minutes in, thereabouts, and so let's go ahead and get started with the actual plans. When I set out to start planning Mania, I thought to be really cheeky, and I was going to do 31 projects that had to do with the month of May, quite literally Mania. And it turns out that there are sufficient patterns, projects, kits, and things that I could fill a month of just May. But I thought, okay, that's a little incessant, don't you think? I mean, that's a little crazy. So then I thought, well, okay, so maybe I'll do some of those. And then these other categories started popping into my head. And so then I thought, okay, so I'm going to do 5 patterns in each of 6 categories, and then one that's sort of like a free-for-all to round out the 31. So my 6 categories are as follows. A May project, so a project that's themed around May. A large project. Well, by large, I'm referring to each of 5 designers that I want to stitch, that I have, that are relatively large. They're not ginormous, but I have a Heaven and Earth, a Mirabilia, a Nora Corbett, a Joan Elliott, and a Glendon Place. So those are 5 large. Okay, so May, large, freebie. So 5 projects that were free. 5 Etsy, 5 from Etsy designers. 5 from magazines. I have an extensive just cross-stitch magazine collection that I've barely stitched anything out of, so I wanted to make sure I focused on that. And then 5 of the Mill Hill kits. I've wanted to do one of those for so long, and so I thought, why not now? So there's that, and then my 1 bonus. So now I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm going to do 5 May and then 5 large, etc., etc. No, I was going to get bored, and 5 large projects back to back to back, but really only getting maybe an hour's work on them. I wasn't feeling that, so I, obsessive compulsive, maybe a little bit methodical, plugged my 5 categories into Excel, and then I think I sorted alphabetically by category. So I have 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, etc. I just wanted to give you guys a peek into my madness. So I'm going to go through my 31 now. Like I said, I am reserving the right to change my mind as I see fit, and as life permits, but this is where it stands today. This is my plan as it is. So, okay. Project number 1 for May the 1st is a Mania project, and I'm going to be pulling from these and then putting them back just for organization's sake. So, project number 1, May the 1st, is the Cricut collection, and May. Can you see that there? This is a part of the monthly series. I'm sure I've talked about this a few times. So, there's that. Some interesting things about this piece. I believe it doesn't say what year, I don't think. 2014. Okay, 2014. 2 of the threads that are called for aren't even, they're discontinued threads. So I have had to replace them with a couple of close substitutions. So there's that. And that will be stitched on a 28 count antique white cashel. So very boring, very basic fabric. Nothing too exciting there, but nonetheless. So, day 1. Day 2 is my first Mill Hill bead kit, and I will be starting Appalachia Santas, and this is Blue Ridge Santa. Oh, sorry for the glare there. And this is on perforated paper. I believe it's 14 count perforated paper, but I couldn't tell you for sure. Anyway, Blue Ridge Santa. I live near the Blue Ridge Mountains. Kind of a given. Okay. Next is day 3, and this is my first freebie, and you should be seeing an image now of what that's going to look like finished, but it is the Christmas Star by Liz Almond. I do not have an image on hand because when you navigate to the Black Work Journey website, literally you click the link and it just pulls up the chart. So just in case she decides to turn this freebie into a paid-for pattern, I'm not going to show it to you. But this will also be going on the same 28 count antique white cashel as I had shown for May by the Cricut collection. Hence the reason they are currently being stored together, because I haven't cut that fabric. So there's that. Now, May the 4th. May the 4th is traditionally a Star Wars Day. I think it's some sort of a national Star Wars Day or something. Because May the 4th is sort of like a play on words from May the Force be with you kind of a thing. Stitch Maynia is having a sale, and so I thought that I would organize things so that I could start a Star Wars pattern on that day. And so this is my first Etsy pattern from my Etsy category, and I am doing BB-8, and it is by Leah Patterns. Any relevant links will of course be linked down below if I can remember to do that. And you should be seeing an image now of what that will look like all finished up. I think he's so cute. The irony is that I will be stitching that on a, I believe it's a Monaco, 28 count Monaco, in this just kind of basic blue. But this is where I lost my steam on Mania 2015. Because I had started a Clouds Factory Star Wars pattern on this fabric. How ironic, huh? So I thought it would be fitting to use this fabric for another Star Wars piece for Mania 16. So there we go. This pattern, it calls for light effects and a DMC linen thread. I don't know about that. So I am substituting out for just regular DMCs, and then I may include like a blending filament or something if sparkle is necessary. So there's that. May the 5th, I had contemplated doing a Sith pattern because May the 4th, may the Force be with you. And then May the 5th is sometimes Return of the Sith. Star Wars jokes. But I couldn't find anything that I was really interested in, and I like Star Wars, but I'm not a Star Wars fanatic, shall we say? So I decided to scrap that idea. So May the 5th is my first large piece, and I went back and forth with this 12 times. I am doing Heaven and Earth design, and the pattern I am doing is Faces of Fairy 201 by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. She kind of reminds me of Black Swan, cool figure, but I can't get over her eyes. Her, like, angry red eyes kill me. So that's the one that I'm going to do for Mania. And my fabric is 25 count antique white Lugana, my standard for Heaven and Earth designs. I wanted to do something really crazy. I thought about doing a supersized Max Colors a Stitch in Time, because I thought that would be fun. But I wanted to get through Mania without having to buy too much, and I was going to have to buy a ginormous, piece of fabric for the supersized Stitch in Time. So I decided against it. I went with something much smaller. Okay. Next, on May the 6th, we have a magazine piece. And you should be seeing what that's going to look like here. This is Cross Stitch Lover, and it is from the Just Cross Stitch issue, January-February 2016. And this design is by Ursula Michael. And I am changing a few things. First of all, I'm stitching it on 32 count Crane Belfast linen by Zweigart, I think. And then the colors, really easy to substitute out for this. So I am using a blend of Weeks Dye Works. So I have, let's see, Cayenne, Galvanized, Cactus, Americana, Amethyst, and Marigold. So I'll be using those instead of just the plain old DMCs. It's a really simple pattern, and it's really easy to switch out colors for that. Mr. Thor is awake, so if you hear, like, mouth noises. He's sort of regaining consciousness. So that is May the 6th. Okay, so those are my categories. So now May the 7th, we're going back to the top of the categories. So this is another May piece. And I will be doing Words of the Month, May by Stony Creek. And I am stitching that on, let's see here. I'm going to go down in here and get this cute little teeny tiny piece of fabric. This is a 28 count Fog Cashel. It's very slightly hand-dyed effect, but hard to see on the camera. And Thor has fallen back asleep. Okay, so that is May the 7th. May the 8th is my next bead kit. And for this one, I will be doing Mill Hill Winter Holiday Collection Christmas Letter. I will be replacing the B with an S because this Christmas will be Danny and I's first Christmas as a married couple, and our last name starts with an S. It's a very, I don't know, sobering thought maybe. So, also on perforated paper comes with the cute little charm that you see there on the bottom. I'm excited to do that one. I like the colors too. That maroon, man, it's a good color for us. Okay. After that, on May the 9th, May the 9th has some relevance to my life somewhere. I'm doing Donna Stitch. This is an Etsy designer, and I am doing Beauty and the Beast. You should be seeing an image of what that looks like here. And I will be stitching that on, I believe, I'm kind of unsure about this, but I believe I'll be doing that on this, it's 18 by 27 lamb's wool Jobelin. It's just a basic tan. I'm concerned about how that's going to look in the background because there are some portions of this one that aren't stitched, but I think it may be okay. I think the colors are vibrant enough that it should be fine. So that's that. Okay, on May the 10th, we have my next free design. This is Cottage Garden Samplings Halloween. This one I'm going to link to because there is absolutely zero cover image for. So I'm just going to link to it, and if you want to check it out, you can. It's a very cute design. It's basically, it says Halloween in the center, and there's a jack-o'-lantern replacing the O. Very basic. And I'll be stitching that on this fabric here. This is a 28 count Murky Lugana that I got, I believe, on 1, 2, 3 stitches clearance fabric, and this is a picture of this plus. I thought that was very Halloween appropriate. And my thread organizer for this one, I'm not showing you most of these, but this one I thought was cool. This I got in a Stitchy box. And so I'll be putting my threads on him. I haven't decorated him yet, but there's only 5 colors in this, so that's what I'll be doing there. And that is made by the Red Gate Stitchery, if anybody's curious. Okay. Next, we have my next large piece. And this I went back and forth about 100 times, and it may change by the time we actually get to May the 11th. But as of now, I will be stitching Damask Roses by Mirabilia. This is Mirabilia design number 1. And I will be stitching that on, let's see, This is 28 count cashel in ale from Picture This Plus. Very basic tan, but a little with the hand-dyed effect. I don't know if I mentioned, but it's Picture This Plus. Love ale. It's one of my favorite colors. Okay. Next is one that I am so excited about, and I don't even know why, but I'm really, really excited to do this one. My next one is a magazine piece. This is on May the 12th. And this is from Just Cross Stitch November, December 2015, not the ornament issue. And this is a design by Marie Barber. It is Graceful Reindeer, which you should be seeing an image of here, which I think is just gorgeous. And I happen to have what I would consider the perfect fabric. As you can see, it's charted on, I believe it's a Witchelt pink linen. I hate Witchelt linen. And I happen to have this piece of rosewood. Oh, isn't that going to be perfect? I am so excited about that. So this is a Belfast in rosewood by Picture This Plus, and this is 18 by 27, so plenty big enough. So excited for this piece. There's so much krennic and so much sparkle to it. So excited. There's also Lazy Daisies in krennic, which I am not excited about, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, so pretty. Okay. Next, on May the 13th, we have the my next May piece. So we've recycled again. And this is going to be Stony Creek's Flowers of the Month, which is May Violets. And so this is what that piece will look like. Very pretty. And I will be stitching that on a piece of 32 count platinum. Ooh. It's really blowing everything out. There we go. Just a very basic piece of fabric. Nothing too exciting there. So that will be going on that. Oh, sorry. And this piece is cool because it's going to include my first time ever using Threadworks. I've never used Threadworks, and it calls for, I can't remember what color this is, but oh, Spanish olives. Pretty. So that's fun. Okay, on May the 14th, we have my next bead kit. This one I think is just so cute. I kind of went winter holiday themed for the bead kits, just because they lend themselves so well to ornaments. So this one is the Winter Holiday Collection Merry Moose. Oh, how cute. Love him. I like his little smile. You can see that he's smiling. So there's that. And also on the perforated paper. Okay. Next, I'm really excited about this one because I have had this chart in my stash probably since I started stitching. I want to say, yeah, I started stitching in 2013 and I went a little bit Etsy crazy at the beginning, and this piece is one of the first ones that I bought, so I'm finally going to stitch it. And this is by Wee Little Stitches, and it is the Big Bang Theory. So you'll be seeing an image here of what that's going to look like finished up. And I am stitching it on 32 count Dill Belfast, which I believe I also got clearance from 123 Stitch. It's not that yellow, it really is more orange than it's showing. It doesn't look that much like ale. So it's a little bit darker than it's showing there, but that's okay. Ta-da. Okay. Next is my next free design, which I'm pretty excited about. It is a chatelaine free design. And I am doing the chatelaine freebie Easter egg. It's a very small design, but it's got some specialty stitches to it and some beads, which I love. And I am stitching that on another piece of 32 count cream Belfast linen from Zweigart. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave the sticker there. So, pretty basic. Next, we have my next large piece. This was my first Glendon Place purchase. In the early days when I was stitching, I looked up the name Elizabeth on cross stitch, on 123 Stitch, on other various websites, just to see what sort of options were out there. Elizabeth was my grandmother's name, and so I kind of just wanted a couple pieces like with that name. So this is the Glendon Place, and it's a part of the Baroque Beauties collection. Elizabeth. Pretty, ain't she? I love that. And this is a really Krennic heavy piece as well. I am stitching it on 32 count Buttercup from Under the Sea Fabrics. Finally, and Under the Sea Fabrics makes an appearance. So very pale yellow, not as pale as it's showing. It's much more honeyed and a lot deeper than it's showing there. Yeah, it's definitely not that pale. That looks much more milky than it is. But I think that's going to be gorgeous under those pinks and greens. Next, we have my next magazine piece. This is on May the 18th, and I have got another Marie Barber pattern. This is from Just Cross Stitch July 2015. This is Marie Barber's Oriental Paper Lanterns. You should be seeing an image now. And I think I'm just going to start with the first one on the left. Eventually I would like to do both of them because I think they're pretty. But also going on that 32 count cream Belfast linen. So there's that. I thought about putting those on a hand dyed, but then I thought it might take away from the there's a lot of blended threads for that piece, so there's a lot of color depth. And so I thought, I'll just do a basic linen back behind that. Of course, I may change my mind 100 times. Okay, next on May the 19th, we have the next May piece. And I am doing another Cottage Garden samplings. Oh, disaster. Almost. This is Cottage Garden samplings. May's Lily of the Valley, and it's from the my garden journal collection. So they have one of these for every month of the year. I thought that was really pretty. And it's stitched largely in, don't want to show anything there. It's stitched largely in Gentle Art sampler threads. But there are some DMCs. So here are the sampler threads. We have Purple Iris, Tarnished Gold, just showing you these quickly, Grape Leaf, Red Plum, and Chives. So there's that. That will be stitched on another piece of the platinum linen, so just a very basic platinum linen. I have that on order and it should be here on Friday. I could have cut that piece of linen that I already have, but I was afraid it was just it was cutting a little bit too close, so I just ordered another small piece of linen. So there's that. Next we have another bead kit. This one is Mill Hill's Charmed Santa Face, and this is Saint Nick. This is an older one, I believe. And he's done in two pieces. His hat is is a separate piece, also on the perforated paper. I think he's cool though. And it comes with a little heart. You see the little charm right there hanging off his hat? That's in there too. Okay, I'm really excited about those bead kits. Next, we have the next Etsy piece. This is from the Tiny Modernist, and this is Dreamcatcher. This one is charted for DMCs. I'm very seriously contemplating substituting out for some of my variegated threads because I think this lends itself really well to substituting. But you should see an image here of what that's supposed to look like when finished. And I am stitching that on 32 count Winterbrook from Under the Sea Fabrics. And this is Belfast. One of the Fabric of the Month pieces. Lovely, lovely blue. With some tarnished bits in the center, which I really like. So there's that. And that's on the 21st. Okay, next we have my next free design. This is also from the Cricut collection. This is their free design called Primrose Carrot. This is another one where I'm just going to link you directly to it because there is no cover image for it whatsoever. And I will be stitching that. I'm just going to leave it in there. You could probably see it. 28 count lamb's wool juvelin. The interesting thing about this piece is that I haven't done a floss toss yet. I haven't pulled the threads for it yet. The chart is in black and white, so I don't even know what this looks like. So I'm really hoping that that's a good fabric for it. But we'll find out. So, there's that. Okay, next is my next large piece, and this is large with quotes because it's a Nora Corbett. And so, you know, her pixies are rather small, her pixies and her mermaids, but I am going to be doing my first of the Black Forest pixies, and I'm going to be doing the Berry Collector, aka Little Miss Mardi Gras. That's what I think she looks like. So, there's the Berry Collector. And I will be stitching her on half of 32 count Autumn by Under the Sea Fabrics. So a pinky brown neutral on Belfast. And so this half will be the Berry Collector and this half will be the Leaf Collector. So there's that. Okay. We're getting down to the wire here. That was on the 23rd of May. On the 24th of May is another Nora Corbett design. This is coming from a magazine. You may have already guessed what it is. Yep, it's Queen Anne's Lace. This is from Just Cross Stitch, April 2016. So technically the current issue, even though June was just released. So you should be seeing what that's going to look like here if you haven't seen it already. I will be stitching that on 28 count cachal. This is from Picture This Plus and it is Crystal Wren. So it's opalescent. You can kind of see the sparkles there. They're very subtle sparkles. And the color is Wren, which is like a pretty simple neutral, but I thought that would look really nice under Queen Anne's Lace. It would really help the pinks and greens pop. So, there we have that. Okay. Next we have the next May design, and I believe that this is our last. Yep. So this is the last set. May the 25th, we have the May Year in Chalk. This is a series from last year by Hands On Design, and everybody did it last year. I'm late to the party, but that's okay. 123 Stitch didn't have the called for fabric. I believe it's a 30 count gunmetal. They did, however, have 35 count gunmetal. So I will be doing mine on 35 count gunmetal. It is not that blue. It's definitely like a blackboard color. Well, that's pretty accurate right there. And I got the called for threads, which was a whopping 2 of them. And I'm not entirely sure why I got the called for threads, because chalk is so unvariegated. But I've already put them on the thread organizer. So we have mistletoe for the green accents and the chalk for the white accents. I guess I should show you the pattern. Plant Seeds of Joy, which I think is ironic because don't the rest of them have the month like in the pattern? This one doesn't, which is I kind of like it. It is definitely the May, a year in chalk, but nonetheless. So there we go. Okay. Next we have our last bead kit, and this one I'm really excited about. I love this one. Every time I'm on 1, 2, 3 Stitch, I love this whole series. This is a Jim Shore design, which is by Mill Hill, but nonetheless under the name of Jim Shore. And this is Snowy Owl Snowman, aka Hedwig and Snowman. Love it. Oh my god, so cute. Does the owl have glasses? Oh my goodness, it looks like the owl is wearing glasses. I love it. Very, very pretty. So, that one is happening on the 27th of May. Okay. Oh no, excuse me, that's the 26th. On the 27th, I have another piece that I am silly excited about. This is the last Etsy piece, and this is, you should be seeing it now. It is the Gryffindor crest, and it is by Stitchering on Etsy. And I will be stitching that, and I can't even contain myself. I love how creative I can be sometimes. This is 30 count parchment linen. Parchment, Harry Potter. It's just so perfect. I am currently listening to the Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix through Audible. And I just passed the point where Snape assigns them 12 inches of parchment on the uses of Moonstone and how they're used in potions, and I was just like, oh, that's perfect. So, there we have it. I'm so excited about this piece. Oh my gosh. Cannot wait for this piece. I may do eventually all of the houses from Stitchering, but for now we'll start with Gryffindor because I am a Gryffindor. When Pottermore first did, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. When Pottermore first did their sorting hat quiz, I was originally a Hufflepuff, and I was a little disappointed, if I'm honest. And then they redid the sorting hat quiz to be a little bit more accurate, apparently, and I was resorted into Gryffindor. So I like to tell people that I'm divergent, because I'm a dork like that. I might have told that story on my video before, so if I have, I apologize. Okay, next is our last free design. Back on track here. The last free design is from Brooks Books Designs, and she has a load of free designs. It's unbelievable. Yeah, tons of free designs on her website. I'll be sure to link that below. This is another one where I went back and forth on which one I was going to do, but I finally decided on doing her sparkling autumn leaves, and so you'll be seeing an image of what those 3 look like together. And I'm going to start with the gold one, I believe, but I'm stitching on, I think I can fit all 3 of them. This is 14 count brown perforated paper. I got this in Stitchy Box, which I think is just kind of perfect. I mean, Brooks Books, Stitchy Box. I don't know. I just like the 2 of them together. So there's that. Okay. Next, we have my last large piece. The irony of this is that it's also a free design, but it's just by happenstance. I am doing Joan Elliott's Stardust Fairy, which is truly remarkable that it's a free design, but nonetheless it is. Here's an image of it so you can see what it looks like. I'm of course going to link it down below. This is a no-joke full-size Joan Elliott design. I will be substituting out the metallics because I don't like the DMC metallics. The fabric, I'm a little nervous about. I don't know if it's the right fabric. Maybe you guys can tell me. Maybe you can reassure me. I am going out on a limb here, and I'm going to do this on 32 count Florin from Under the Sea Fabrics. Oh yeah, pink. Some spots of like serious pink there in the middle. You can't really see the yellow, but there is some yellow tints to this. I believe that this is one of the original Florins. I know that she changed, maybe it's not. I know that she changed how she dyed the Florin because of something. Maybe I'm making that up. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think. Stardust Fairy on Florin. Unfortunately, Joan Elliott, the Stardust Fairy isn't in the viewer, so I can't even get an idea. I thought about doing my own, but that failed miserably. So, we'll see. We shall see. Okay. On the 30th of May, we have my last magazine design, and this is from the Just Cross Stitch June 2015. Sorry, I couldn't see that there. And this is the Teacup Herbs, and I'm going to start with Sage, but I'm also going to do the full set. I'm going to do all 4 of them. And I'm doing that on the 28 count Joblin. It's the same piece that I have set for the Primrose Carrot freebie, but I just thought better use up the fabric as it stands. So there we go. It's going to go on that. And that is the last of the categorical pieces. Now, on May the 31st, I went back and forth. I was like, I could do something truly epic, or something ridiculously small, or I don't know. I had a lot of thoughts. I thought about having a startathon on the 31st. I thought about asking you guys to choose. But finally I just decided to do just one piece, and it's a simple piece. There's a precarious tower that just fell over here. I just decided to do one piece, one simple piece, and it is by the Cricut Collection, which is fastly becoming one of my favorite designers. This is the 3rd time they are represented in my Stitch Mania. I thought that it was kind of appropriate to finish with the Cricut Collection since my very first piece is Cricut Collection May. I thought about doing January, and then I was like, well, I can't do January because I'm not going to do February till next year. And what about March? I thought about doing spring, but, well, May the 31st is kind of still spring, but it's kind of really summer at that point. So I thought, I'm going to do summer. So I am going to do summer. Summer. Sorry, there's a whole lot on the back here. Okay, I'm going to read that later. So this is summer. Let's see, some of the designs. We have a beach chair, a garden, a great big giant sun. I love these designs. They're so cute. And each letter is like a little mini finish. This one has no specialty threads, but boy does it have a lot of colors. It also has no buttons, I don't believe. Nope, no buttons. But a ton of colors. and I am stitching that. Now all of these are charted for 32 count linens from usually from R&R Productions, but I mean, I can't get R&R Productions on 123 Stitch. I could if I went down to Williamsburg. I guess that they have a selection of the R&R Productions fabrics, but it's a long drive. So I substituted out for the alternate, which is a 32 count pastel lilac. And it's pretty much exactly what it says it is. But it's not that white. It's like a pale pinky color. Very pale, very pastel. I can't get it to show. I'm like trying all of the angles. You know, like when cell phones first came out and you had to do things like stand on your head to try to get reception? That's kind of what I feel like I'm trying to do here. So anyway, pastel lilac. And that will be my sort of final piece for Stitch Mania 2016. Ta-da! There they are, my 31. I am so excited for May, oh my god. I can't wait. I am stoked. Very ready for this to start and to sort of overload my house with whips. I've got a pile of things over here and a pile of things over there. I have some kitting work to do, but I've actually run out of kitting materials. Typically speaking, I will use, let me see if I have one close, yeah. I will use like floss packs or flossway bags on a metal ring to kitting up projects with lots of colors, but I've run out of bags like a long time ago. So for my bead kits, I did what Katie recommended, which is these low-rand project cards, but I've run out of those. I ordered 3 packs, so 9 total because each one comes with 3. Something in my hair there. Run out of those, so I ordered some more. Then I switched to doing, for even fewer colors, I switched to doing, like, these are cardstock. They're like bookmark size, but I folded them in half and then hole punched so that I could do colors. What else have I done? I think that's it. I think those are my 3 methods. Yeah, shenanigans. I'm out of like my kitting materials. So I have to wait till Friday when my replacements show up so I can finish kitting up. Anyway, you weren't here for all that. I hope that Thor's snoring wasn't too nuts, and I hope that you enjoyed this. I will be looking out for your Mania videos. I'm also going to, I think on Friday, probably on Friday, I'm going to record a whip update because it's been about a month. So probably should do that. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much once again for watching and for subscribing, commenting, and all of your love and support. It's so very much appreciated. Hope you have a good one. Bye. Thor, can you say hello? They want you to say hi.